Please subscribe and ring the bell to be instantly notified of In Hindsight /Balik Tanaw episodes. Please like and share this video and all my videos across social media. Please support the show on PayPal, where you can give out any amount you want, or on Patreon. Patrons can watch Balik Tanaw /In Hindsight videos earlier than everyone else. They can see their names at the end of videos, and they can even request videos about a song, a movie, an album, a TV show, or even on one-hit wonders. For full details and to become a patron, visit patreon.com/baliktanaw. And thank you to my sibling G-G Arts for the microphone I borrowed for this video. Welcome, I am Emir, and let's look back in hindsight. I find the story of Deep Blue something interesting. Interesting? No, it's not because of their quote hit unquote. You'll know later what I think about Breakfast at Tiffany's. I'm talking about the story behind the song and behind the band. Like the Romantics, this is another cautionary tale about musicians and their copyright over their work. I will focus on that today. So, this is another Law Meets Balik Tanaw. Again, note the disclaimer above. You have been warned. Babala. Ting-a-ning. Meet the band. In no particular order: Clay Burgos, John Kirtland, Toby Pipes, Todd Pipes, and Kirk Tatum. Frank Tortorici or Tortorici on VH1 wrote, quote, Toby Pipes and his brother Todd got the idea to form a rock band when they were both attending college in Texas, United States of America, in the early 90s. The brothers quickly enlisted drummer John Kirtland from the band Love Swing. The three decided to join forces and called their group Leper Messiah. They crafted a grunge-inflected sound. Hey, Nirvana was king. It was the 90s. But Leper Messiah were more interested in melodies than the average young band of the time. They believed this difference would separate them from the pack. And, quote, in the road to fame, they would meet Louis? Is the S supposed to be silent? Anyway, I'm going with Louis. They would meet Louis Bickel Jr. Who's this guy? Robert Wilonsky on the Dallas Observer wrote, quote, he was an upper-class kid from Highland Park, whose father is a partner at a prestigious Dallas law firm, a young man with money in his father's deep pockets. After he graduated from Texas A&M University in 1990 with a political science degree, Bickel went to work for a local insurance company as a recruiter. He went on to hear the band, who would later become Deep Blue Something, a couple of times that summer, and became friendly with them. They told him they were trying to put out a CD and lacked the money to finance such a project. Bickel offered his help, promising the band whatever money they would need to get their record done. In late 1992, Bickel paid, quote, no more than $3,000, unquote, according to Deep Blue Something's lawyer, to send the band into real-time studios to record the CD that would become the 11th song. End quote. What's so important about 11th song? Quote, it featured Breakfast at Tiffany's, the song that would soon make the band famous. End quote. Back to the story. Quote, on January 7, 1993, Bickel and Deep Blue Something agreed to a contract that Bickel says gives him the rights to all the songs on that CD. The deal also called for Bickel, who was doing business as Doberman Records, to receive a percentage of money made from, quote, all, open bracket, deep blue something, close bracket, songs, past, present, and future, unquote, in the words of the contract, end quote. Does that seem familiar? The band who needed money gave, quote, the rights to all the songs on that CD, unquote, and, quote, a percentage of money made from, quote, all, open bracket, deep blue something, close bracket, songs, past, present, and future, unquote, end quote. Not just the songs they recorded for that album, but even old ones and even future ones. No limits, not even a time limit. All that in exchange for, quote, no more than 3,000, unquote. How did 11th song do? Quote, the CD at first sold modestly, a few hundred copies, most of which were sold by the band at shows, end quote. Meanwhile, quote, guitarist Cart Tatum replaced Burgos and was on board for Home, the group's second album. The band decided to change its name to Deep Blue Something after an instrumental they were playing at the time. End quote. Here's a more exciting version of the story behind their name. An article on Blast Echo states, quote, while jamming on the aforementioned, quote, big space epic, unquote, as Pipes calls it, he was having a bit of writer's block. Quote, somebody just throw out a title, unquote, Pipes told his bandmates. Quote, open bracket, drummer, close bracket, John, open bracket, Kirtland, close bracket, said, quote, this one part, for some reason, makes me think of water. You should call it, quote, deep blue something, unquote. I said, quote, hey, did you get that from somewhere? Unquote. And the rest, as they say, is history, end quote. Let's check back in with the CD, 11th song. What happened next? Come on, take a guess. Or, ditto. Quote, but over the course of the next 2 years, the CD would sell in the thousands. It would spawn a big hit single on local radio, help land the band a big-time record deal with Interscope Records during the summer of 1995, get the band on VH1 and MTV several times a day, every day, and a shot on The Tonight Show, and make them one of the most successful bands ever to come from Dallas. End quote. How did that, quote, big hit single, unquote, come to be? Toby Pipes recalled in 2013, quote, I was in graduate school at the University of North Texas in 93, and my emphasis was on writing. I wanted to see what I could get away with in a pop song, and still have it be easy on the ears. I didn't want to repeat any words in the chorus, which is just criminal. And I'd had the phrase, breakfast at Tiffany's, in my head for quite a while. There was no girl. End quote. A lot of reviewers hated the song. Tom Sinclair on EW.com wrote, quote, Breakfast at Tiffany's is distressingly prosaic pop from a wimpy-sounding Texas quartet. Lacking any musical piquancy, this is as namby-pamby as the song's narrator, who tries to convince his alienated girlfriend they should stay together because they, quote, both kinda like, unquote, the same Audrey Hepburn film, end quote. John Nova Lomax on Houston Press stated, quote, I can't scream out loud. People are still sleeping. Anyway, Just pretend that's a scream of pain. Bores into your brain like a power drill and blossoms there like the most malignant tumor on record. End quote. VH1 included Breakfast at Tiffany's in its 50 most awesomely bad songs ever. And of course, they're Stood in the Shadows. Someone pointed out that the song is not even about the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's, but another Audrey Hepburn film. Now, I know who she was. She was an actress, but I first saw her kind of CGI in a Galaxy Chocolate commercial. It's been a long time since I've had that. It's not available here. Back to the song. Here's my take. I don't get the hate. It's a matter of perspective. If Breakfast at Tiffany's is the only bond two people have left, not even something real but fictional, then that relationship is doomed. But if it's a stepping stone to find out, rediscover what else they share, then that Audrey Hepburn movie may be a glimmer of hope. This isn't a song I can hate. And that was your relationship advice from Emir. Please subscribe and ring the bell to be instantly notified of In Hindsight /Balik Tanaw episodes. Please like and share this video and all my videos across social media. Please support the show on PayPal, where you can give out any amount you want, or on Patreon. Patrons can watch Balik Tanaw /In Hindsight videos earlier than everyone else. They can see their names at the end of videos, and they can even request videos about a song, a movie, an album, a TV show, or even on one-hit wonders. For full details and to become a patron, visit patreon.com/Balik Tanaw. And thank you to my sibling G-G Arts for the microphone I borrowed for this video. Deep Blue Something didn't just have the critics to deal with though. Remember Bickle? On July 7, 1995, the band, quote, filed suit in Denton County District Court, alleging that their contract with Bickle was worthless. In documents filed in state and federal court, they claim Bickle never gave them an accounting of the money made from sales of 11th song and refused to pay royalties. Again, sounds familiar? The band alleges the contract between Bickle and the band is, quote, unenforceable on its face, unquote, because, quote, it was produced by fraud and materially breached by Bickle, unquote, end quote. More than a month later, quote, on August 25, 1995, Bickle filed a federal copyright suit against Deep Blue Something, Nugent, I don't know, and Swinford, as well as Nugent or Nugent, and Swinford's Dallas label Rainmaker Records, Interscope, and Atlantic in United States District Court in Dallas, claiming rights to Breakfast at Tiffany's. As Bickle says quite simply in his deposition, quote, Breakfast at Tiffany's is my song, unquote. He backs up his claim with his copyright application, which was accepted by the Copyright Office because the band had failed to copyright their own material, which is a common mistake among young musicians, end quote. A copyright application, a copyright registration, these are not requirements for copyright protection. Under the United States Copyright Act, quote, copyright protection subsists in accordance with this title in original works of authorship fixed in any tangible medium of expression, now known or later developed, from which they can be perceived, reproduced, or otherwise communicated, either directly or with the aid of a machine or device, end quote. Or, as the United States Copyright Office puts it, quote, your work is under copyright protection the moment it is created and fixed in a tangible form, that it is perceptible either directly or with the aid of a machine or device. Registration is voluntary. Copyright exists from the moment the work is created. You will have to register, however, if you wish to bring a lawsuit for infringement of a U.S. work. End quote. Philippine copyright law is much clearer. According to the Intellectual Property Code, quote, literary and artistic works, hereinafter referred to as, quote, works, unquote, are original intellectual creations in the literary and artistic domain, protected from the moment of their creation. Works are protected by the sole fact of their creation, irrespective of their mode or form of expression, as well as of their content, quality, and purpose. End quote. To prove that copyright exists and that you own copyright, there's a section on affidavit evidence. Let me know if you want me to explain further. Besides, the person who applies for copyright registration does not necessarily own that copyright. According to the U.S. Copyright Act, quote, copyright in a work protected under this title vests initially in the author or authors of the work. Of course, copyright can be transferred to another person. But without any transfer, without any document as evidence of the transfer, no person other than the author can apply for copyright registration. Back to the legal bicker between Bickel and the ban. Wow, that's another tongue twister. Add that to the list of Balik Tanaw / in hindsight tongue twisters. Quote, quite simply, Louis Bickel wants Deep Blue Something and Deep Blue Something managers Paul Nugent and Mike Swinford, label Interscope Records, and distributor Atlantic Recording Corporation to give him an accounting of how much money Breakfast at Tiffany's has made, and then to turn 5% of all those royalties over to him. The band, Nugent, Swinford, Interscope, and Atlantic refused to do that, of course, claiming Bickel has no legal right whatsoever to the song. In fact, they all allege Bickel's 1993 contract with Deep Blue Something is void because he never lived up to his side of the agreement. They allege that the money Bickel used to pay for the recording of 11 songs was nothing more than a loan, and that he has been more than compensated through sales of the CD, which, one source says, has grossed more than 40,000 United States dollars, only a few $100 of which the band ever received, according to members of Deep Blue Something. Quote, Mr. Bickel loaned, open bracket, Deep Blue Something, close bracket, some money, and helped them to produce a CD, unquote, says Charles Davis, the band's attorney. Quote, that CD is titled 11 Song, and Mr. Bickel came back a few months later and asked that they sign an agreement which purported to be a lot of things. But when you say, quote, the agreement, unquote, and when I say it, I wince, because this alleged agreement that was allegedly entered into is absolutely unenforceable in the state of Texas, unquote. I was looking for the section on void and unenforceable contracts on the Texas Civil Code, so I can compare it with the Philippine Civil Code version. But I couldn't find it. Please let me know where it is. Quote, Davis insists Bickel filed his lawsuit in federal court because there was no way the alleged agreement between Bickel and the band was going to stand up in state court. Davis refers to the demand for federal jurisdiction as nothing more than a, quote, delaying action, unquote. Davis says Deep Blue Something only filed its lawsuit in July 1995 because Bickel ignored 3 times the band's request for accounting records and royalty figures, which Davis started asking for in December 1994. According to Davis, the 3 band members received only $250 United States dollars apiece for sales of 11 songs, whereas Bickel pocketed several $1,000s, much more, David notes, than his original investment for the recording and manufacturing of the disc. Charles Davis contends this is not a copyright case. First of all, he says, the song existed long before Bickel met the band, and the version of Breakfast at Tiffany's on 11 Song is a completely different recording than the one on Home. He also points out that Bickel never bought the song from the band. Rather, Davis stresses, Bickel merely loaned the band a few $1,000s to record 11 Song. End quote. That's the band's arguments. What about Bickel's? Quote, in a November 29, 1995 deposition, Bickel says he paid local manufacturer and distributor Crystal Clear Sound $2,066 United States dollars for the initial fabrication of 11 Song. He also says about 12,000 copies of the disc have been pressed, and that Crystal Clear Sound, which also distributed 11 Song nationally and still does, has paid him 36,000 United States dollars, monies made from the sale of 11 Song over the course of 2 years. Bickel says that out of the money, he has pocketed between 12,000 to 13,000 United States dollars. Quote, less the royalties I pay, unquote, the members of Deep Blue Something and other taxes. Bickel, who from all accounts never promoted 11 Song, figures he ended up paying the band, quote, about 1,700 United States dollars, unquote, in royalties. But he insists that after a show at Trees on May 13, 1995, quote, I offered them another 600 United States dollars, and they didn't take it, unquote. He asserts that Paul Nugent, or Nugent, Deep Blue Something's manager and co-owner in Rainmaker Records, which first released Home before the band signed to Interscope, wouldn't allow the band to accept the checks and wouldn't allow Bickel to see the band from anywhere other than the audience. Nugent, who tells the Observer he didn't allow the band to take the money because Bickel would not also provide a financial accounting of money made from sales of 11 Song, did get Bickel and a couple of pals into the show for free. End quote. What happened to the case? How long did it take? How did the judge rule? How did the appeal go? I don't know, because I couldn't find any decision or court opinion on Google Scholar. Hey, I have to stick with what's free. I can't afford those expensive legal resources available to law firms. I already mentioned this before. All I can find is an article by Shannon Sutleaf? Maybe it's even Sutlief? I don't know. For the Dallas Observer, who wrote, quote, Bickel eventually received a settlement, though the Pipes brothers wouldn't say how much or who paid it. End quote. For creators, not just musicians, here are some lessons. First, never transfer or assign copyright to your work. Never. Without copyright, you can't reproduce your work. You can't perform your work. Why? Because those are exclusive rights of the copyright holder. If you sell it to another, then that other person has the exclusive rights to reproduce your work, to perform your work. You can license, meaning You own copyright, but you allow another person to use your work in exchange for royalties, but never transfer, never assign the copyright. Second, include limits to licenses of your copyright. That cannot be forever. As a saying in Filipino goes, walang forever. Otherwise, creators would be disadvantaged in the long run. What if the license fees, the royalties you get, are too low? Third, for musicians and video makers, if you really need to, you may transfer copyright to a recording of your work. Not the copyright of your work, but of the recording. That way, you can re-record your work. You still have the right of reproduction over your work after all. Are there more lessons to be learned? Have my lessons helped you? Let me know. Let's go back to Deep Blue Something. Are they a one-hit wonder? First, was Breakfast at Tiffany's a hit? According to the standard definition of a quote hit unquote from my oldest one-hit wonders? Yes, it was a hit. Breakfast at Tiffany's peaked at number 5. But did they have any other hits? Again, based on the definition? Nope. So, Deep Blue Something is a one-hit wonder. They don't mind though. An article on Buzz reads, quote, they've embraced their status as a one-hit wonder, end quote. However, quote, while Pipes recognizes Breakfast at Tiffany's is his meal ticket when it comes to the radio, quote, I generally turn the station, unquote, he admits, end quote. Hey, nothing wrong with that. It's natural. I don't even watch my own work. When I do, I cringe because I find things like this. What happened after the hit? Sam Lambeth of LouderThanWar.com wrote, quote, follow-up single Josie, a gentle ode to an HIV test, struggled to replicate Tiffany's titanic longevity. By the time the group had readied their third album, the sprawling Byzantium, or Byzantium? I don't know. I didn't take Latin, unlike my sister. I wonder why she took up a class on a dead language. Anyway, they found themselves on the major label scrap heap, end quote. According to Ben Hewitt on the BBC, the band was, quote, caught up in another legal dispute. Interscope were so busy putting their energy into rap rock group Limp Bizkit that they wanted to delay the release of the new album Deep Blue Something had recorded, which meant the group had to sue their label in order to be freed from their contract. They won the suit and were eventually able to release a new self-titled LP in 2001. The original third album, Byzantium, was only ever released in Japan, but soon went separate ways, end quote. The Pipes brothers went behind the scenes and founded their own recording studio. It was their opportunity to pay it forward. Drummer John Kirtland also, quote, runs his own record label, Kirtland Records, end quote. But that doesn't mean the end of the road for Deep Blue Something. The band reunited around 2014. They released, quote, a new EP, Locust House, in the summer of 2015 on drummer John Kirtland's label, Kirtland Records, end quote. Do you want me to review the other tracks on the albums where Breakfast at Tiffany's appeared, 11th Song, or Home? Do you want to see an In Hindsight video on their other albums? Then please support the show on patreon.com/baliktanaw. Thank you.